for my thing this week, Mike's thing this week. Is that what we're calling this?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to talk about hostile architecture.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah. I heard a little bit about that. Go ahead.
Well, I thought you were going to tell me what you thought it was.
Oh.
And then I can make fun of you if you were wrong.
Yeah. No. It's basically almost like it sounds like it's architecture that's designed to stop homeless people from enjoying the surroundings. No.
Yeah, well, it's to stop people
Yeah.
at some point. So I put a picture up here. This is actually to stop skateboarders from grinding on the edge of this cement barrier or wall or whatever this is. I remember, at least when I lived in the city, seeing these a lot. You would see them on not curbs per se, but any type there was like a small wall or like a retention wall, or maybe even like benches and spots for people to sit.
Yeah.
They would put these. I would also see them on like handrails. Not this in particular. It looked like a $50 cut in half, and then just the half round was welded to the handrail, which didn't stop you using it from as a handrail, but you couldn't slide down it on a skateboard. Now that was my main experience with like hostile architecture, but there's a whole nother piece to it nowadays where people are not only trying to stop skateboarders, but also stop homeless people from doing things. I don't even know where to start here. So one of them I saw online was in New York, and there are these grates that go straight through the subway. Well, the subway down there is generally heated, and so in the winter, homeless people would sleep on the grates to keep warm. But then they changed the way the grates are so that they, one, aren't just flat grates in the cement. They are these raised things that they almost look like art installations where they're all wavy and... But they're also extremely uncomfortable to lay on.
Yeah.
And they've done this on purpose. So here's my question. You're basically taking away something from a group of people that have almost nothing to begin with.
Right.
I mean, and I'm going to say the quiet part out loud here. I understand that cities have homeless people problems. Most of the time, people don't want that, or they don't want it where they are.
Yeah.
And so then cities will do this. And in fact, a lot of times cities are doing this in secret because people are catching on that this is not an art installation. This is to stop people from sleeping on it.
Yeah.
But it seems like in this occasion, we can't find anything better. Like, I don't know. Jump in here because I'm thinking like, is this super screwed up?
Yeah, it is. Because the number one question that came to my mind was, how much do these things cost, like to do this? How much is the city paying for this? Because in the same breath, you could be doing something to like alleviate homelessness or something to aid in the homelessness problem instead of doing this. Like, I get it that it's unsightly sometimes, like, especially if you have a large homeless population in your city and then at night or even during the day, maybe they're just sleeping on the benches. But
like, why not use that money to solve the overall problem?
Right.
I think that solving the overall problem would be many more times expensive.
Yeah.
But I threw another one up here on the screen. This is not as artsy as the other ones we were talking about over the grates and stuff. But this is just it's like having armrests for your bench,
Right.
which I think a lot of people would go, "Oh, okay, this is nice." But there's a sub meaning here.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't lay on it.
You can't lay on it.
Yeah. And I can see why it's hostile. It's very like passive aggressive,
Yeah.
because I don't know. My whole thing is that like I'm sure that there's some other way. I get it if the overall solution may be more expensive, but like this just gives off vibes like I don't care about the citizens in my like the people in the city.
Yeah, but if you didn't know that that's what the double meaning was, and you just looked out, wouldn't you be like, "Oh, these are nice benches"?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
But now that you know, then it's
right.
upsetting.
Yeah.
So would it have been better for me not to bring this up and you just not to know?
No. Like,
Oh, okay. Because like sometimes I feel like, once someone points something out, then you can't stop seeing it.
oh yeah.
So
yeah.
when you're in the city, you might be like, oh, look what they did here. Oh, that's weird. Why did they do that? Well, maybe it's not as much as what it looks like or the utility that you'd use it for,
right.
but maybe it's to deny someone else from using it in a way that they,
Yeah.
I mean, I could understand working in like an office building and then there are some benches outside
Yeah.
and maybe you want to go outside for lunch and sit down and have your lunch.
Mm-hmm.
But then if every time you go out there, there's homeless people sleeping on it because they're trying to hold it for the night or whatever, then it might be like, oh, but I wanted to have my sandwich. But then in the grand scheme of things, your sandwich is shouldn't be more important than them.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to point out, like, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here because
I get
that's
that.
how both sides. I'm not advocating that we should use hostile architecture against them, but then at the same time, I kind of get why they're doing it. I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I just think that, there's got to be some better way, and those things are probably coming from like the city leaders, that are, recommending that or proposing that, unless it's coming from the residents of the city. But once again, it's still,
I think it is coming from the city leaders, and I think in the past they were able to do these things in an incognito kind of way.
yeah,
And nowadays people recognize what they're really
Right.
for, and now the people are getting ticked.
yeah,
But at the same time, if you had massive like homeless people encampments, people get upset about that too.
yeah, true, yeah. Yeah, but once again, I don't know. I'm still gonna say that it falls on the city. Like I understand that there's hundreds of reasons that people become homeless, and sometimes it's not necessarily the job of the city leaders to like stop you from being homeless, but a way to like aid you if that becomes your situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I know that we're not going to come up with a solution here unless you have a solution and
Unfortunately, I don't.
okay. But I just wanted to point it out. I thought that it was interesting, and I think if you don't live in the city, a lot of people don't realize that this kind of stuff happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, like, I don't live in like a huge city, but, there is a, sizable homeless population. So, I mean, I see people, like panhandling near the interstate or like near the off ramps or on ramps, at the gas stations, and I get it how, I mean, I've been stopped so many times when I'm like pumping gas or going into the store and somebody will flag me down asking for change.